We're hearing from him right on Sedesco, but we already voted to approve it, so.
So
right?
hopefully the presentation won't be,
Oh, yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah,
If
we
there's
voted
any-
last time.
I thought we voted.
yeah.
Because my husband is known to him, she really should recuse herself. We should have had her recuse last time, but we already voted. So I was gonna say, if she starts saying things not right,
Okay,
just so you know, I've been told by a few people.
yeah. Don't put me in the middle of this.
I'm in the middle.
No.
Oh, Rich, next week, we are gonna meet right down there, right?
I think so,
Yeah, 'cause-
or back there.
Or back there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if they need the speakers or not. Yeah, because it's more intimate.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be just a,
Yeah, it would make
Yeah,
more
wherever.
sense.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Okay, I have both Kim and Madison, so I'm gonna turn you ladies up, and we're already
Okay.
live, just so you know. And I'm gonna turn on the microphones. Okay, so you're good to go.
Yeah.
no, wait till, officially 6 o'clock. You want to lead the pledge, Barney?
Screws in the back is going to be a little bit of a
I think if I tap the hammer many times,
Yeah.
that's the signal. Rapid tapping is settle down. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Henley, please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And just so everybody knows, Mrs. Duckworth and Ms. Reed are on the phone. They're not physically here, but they are here, so just so you know. Okay, next item is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
I move we approve the agenda.
And how about a second?
I second.
All in favor, please, that too. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Approval of minutes for the August, actually, approval of minutes for the August 6th meeting, which was sent out to us.
I move we approve the minutes from
And-
August 6th.
And a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed,
Aye.
please say no. Okay, minutes are approved. On to the informational reports, current events, starting with Dr. J.
President Rakowski, members, board and guests, thank you all for being here today. Couple things, just want to share. First off, we are in the process of applying for the A+ School of Excellence Award at the middle school and the high school. So both schools have had tremendous growth over the last few years, A-rated schools, national model schools. And so I've been working on the high school application with a group of stakeholders, and Kim and her team have been working on the middle school one, and they'll be submitted next Friday. We've had good stakeholder input. We had a meeting today, students, staff, parents, and community. So really good information. And we will, if selected, we would get a visit later in the year. And if we win that award, it is good for 4 years. So the high school, theirs came up in 2024, so it's time for renewal there. I'm also happy to share that for the 6th time, the Fountain Hills High School was named a U.S. News and World Report Best and Nationally Ranked School, so that's six times. And Krista will be working on purchasing the rights to the logo to put on our website. Also, we put a plaque in the front office. So we're very proud of the work that has been done at the high school, so six times is really great. Tomorrow, thanks to the Rudolphis, we have the Be Kind Assembly at McDowell Mountain at 9 a.m. And this will be our 3rd Be Kind Assembly over the last decade. So Craig is really, this means a lot to Craig and his wife that the Be Kind project comes out. So they pay for it completely as a donation to the school, and it's pretty awesome. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. at McDowell Mountain Elementary School, the kids will be dancing, teachers will be dancing, and it's just a nice message of how far being kind goes. I'm happy to share that FHU has 87 kids in it this year, which is higher than expected, but that's okay. We're very happy with that. And we received a $15,000 donation from Peter and Teresa Conti, plus they did another $5,000 last year. So over the last 2 years, they've donated $20,000 in tuition to help cover some of those costs, and it's a very popular program. So 87 kids in our small school will be finishing with college credits from Arizona State in the next couple years. So that's really good. I will be out at a safety conference the next 2 days in Litchfield Park. So it's a local conference. It's the school safety conference they do pretty much yearly. And it's something I like to attend. So I will be there and hopefully come back with some new things that we can do with our grant money. We have one more set of projects to do this year, which is keyless entry and some fencing, and then that $500,000 grant will be expended. But it's always good to get information there. I also have a list of books. Okay. I didn't have to read them all, but I got a list of books that will be going on review, picture books, chapter books, beginning chapter books, graphic novels, and nonfiction. So this list will be available as part of the packet or on our website?
I will send it via
Okay.
Constant Contact.
Oh, we'll send it out to parents through Constant Contact. It'll be available for 60 days for review and then come back to you at a later time. So with that, I conclude my comments. Thank you.
Okay, so board members at the Be Kind Assembly will not be dancing, correct?
I think that's a requirement for them to come
I
back.
know.
So,
Couldn't do it.
All right.
Krista, can we get a copy of that too, that you're sending out to
Sure.
Constant Contact?
yeah, you guys always get
You guys
everything.
get it.
I know we get it later.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And then the next thing up is Falcons of the Summer?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go out of our way this board meeting to recognize people who have stepped up in a massive way to help us get the year off and running. And I'm going to do the first one, and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleague to talk about the other recipients. I am going to recognize tonight Kaylee Brown. So Kaylee, got to come up to the podium here. And it would be an understatement for me to say that we would not have been able to get the year off and running without Kaylee. So she has stepped up in a just a massive way to take on more, go above and beyond, and the countless hours that she's put in. And I'm going to talk mostly about transportation, but there are other areas as well where she has just massively stepped up in helping the district get off the ground this school year. With transportation, obviously we had an opening over the summer and into the start of the year for a mechanic and a director. And Kaylee stepped up and worked with John Flynn, who I'm happy to say is back in the district helping us with the director role. But Kaylee stepped up in that absence time and worked on routes, worked on ensuring that all the drivers had trainings, all the testing, all the things that need to get done. She drove the routes many times. She knows this town inside. So she is literally your Google map now. So if you want to know where an intersection is, she'll be able to tell you with no problem. But she took the time to run routes, make sure everything was going to work the best it could. And we obviously have a shortage of CDL drivers. You guys addressed that at a previous meeting, which we appreciate. And I just want to let the community know that when people like Kaylee step up, that's what makes the district special, and couldn't have got through the summer without her. So just want to recognize her publicly. Thank you, Kaylee.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Thank
Do you
you.
want all of these at once? Yes. I'll get it for you. Don't touch it like Harvey. Okay.
Yeah.
You up there, Hartman?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I am really excited to be here tonight to recognize our transportation team. So if you guys want to come up here with me. Yes, John, come on. Becky. Come on, Becky. Come on, Becky. So not all of them could make it tonight. Some of them work extra jobs and stuff like that. But up until this summer, if you would have told me about transportation, I would have said, well, buses are big and they're yellow, and that's kind of all I knew. And then coming into this, I was like, oh my God, there is so much about transportation that none of us knew. So I wrote something for all of our transportation members. They're obviously not all here, so I'm just going to read about the people who are here, and then the rest of them I will go talk to in person tomorrow. So we'll start with John. John brings so much positivity and kindness to the team. He's always flexible, and he's ready to kind of jump in wherever is needed, and he's literally one of the nicest people I have ever met in my life.
Really?
No, you're not chocolate. And so we'll move on to Becky. So Becky technically isn't even a transportation team member anymore, but I was able to kind of rope her back in. She's honestly been so willing to hop on a bus at any hour, morning, night. She answers my phone calls. Thank you for still answering my calls and texts. Please don't block me. Promise, please don't. So I just want to thank her for coming back and helping us when we really needed it. It was nice to have somebody I could count on. So yay for Becky. Dina, where are you? There you are. Dina is the CEO of our special education route. She took all of the kids and just took care of the route and figured out where to go, which was great because I had no idea what to do. She put so much time and heart into making sure that her students are taken care of, and the families love her, the students love her. I love seeing her happy face every time, so thank you, Dina. And then last but not least, Randy. I don't think I would have survived this summer without Randy, and he probably wishes I went on vacation or something. But he has been my go-to for everything. Every time I call him, he's calm, he has a plan for me. He's like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Here's option A. He keeps everyone and everything moving over there in the absence of a director. So you've been my rock, and thank you.
And I just want to say to all of you, thank you for all you do. You have stepped up in such a major way, and I've gotten to know a lot of you a lot more this summer. But what you do is so valuable, and it is. And we hope that the board and the additional funding that we put towards transportation, we hope that shows a little bit more of what we, all the things we are proud of with you. And we wish it could be more. We're going to work to make it more in the future, but just thank you from the bottom of our heart for what you do for our kids. We have a great, great department. Thank you. Let's take a picture.
Sorry, I'm slowly handing this stuff out. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Yeah, if you guys knew what it was like to drive a bus, by the way, they just are given a paper route and then there's kids screaming and you could, I could never do it. I don't know how to do it. Throwing, jumping. It's insane. Welcome. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, now we can all take a picture.
Kaylee, get your certificate too.
Yes, ma'am. So sorry.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. And we know you have things to do tonight with your family, so enjoy your night. We appreciate it. Or you're welcome to stay.
All right, next up is the presentation, the Sodexo presentation.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for letting me take a little bit of your time up tonight. Before the meeting started, I heard you mention this would be a quick meeting tonight. There's not much on the agenda, but I just wanted to let you know that before I came over, I stopped by the district office and Chris was mentioning it's a pretty light meeting and asked, hey, can you fill up about 45 minutes to an hour? And so I got a packet.
Didn't we warn you that to listen to Chris?
Right. So he did tell me to bring food samples, but I do have these for you. I probably just need about 10 minutes of your time.
Okay.
So the point of this is Dr. J had asked me at the end of the last school year to see if I could come over and spend some time with you and maybe tell you some of the things that are going on with the changes at a national and state level.
Thank you.
We'll have two extras for the board members who aren't here too, so if you could leave those with Chris.
Yeah, you
Just
bet.
leave.
Yeah.
You betcha. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the resources that Sodexo has available and what we're doing. I did speak with Ellen Hobley. She is the West Region nutritionist with Sodexo. And so she is my go-to person when there's any changes that come from the national level or state level. It'll be communicated to us what those changes are through her. She's also a great resource when, for example, last school year, the district had an audit that was performed by the state, and Ellen was one of the resources that Sodexo provided. We worked with Tammy to try to get her any information that she needed, and the district passed the audit with flying colors. Typically, the state can either choose to come back every 3 years or 5 years. Tammy did a really great job with the audit, and the state decided, hey, we'll see you in 5 years. So it went really well. So Ellen is my go-to person, and she's also available here with the district. She's communicated with Dr. J before directly, helped answer any questions. So some of the big changes that are coming, or one of the things that we've been asked about most so far, is food dyes. And even before the changes coming out of Washington regarding the food dyes and having the red 40 and the yellow and the blues and everything removed from the food, Sodexo was already the food that's part of the breakfast and the lunch program that we serve outside of the snack program was already about 99+% free of any additives as far as the dyes go. So we are still looking and working with manufacturers to try to find anything that may have been missed, but that's something that Sodexo had already committed to a while ago. Now, I did want to just touch base on the Smart Snack program. So that is something where we can offer vending for the students so they can purchase certain drinks, certain snacks, chips, things of that nature. We don't have any official word yet as far as what those changes are going to be to the program. So all I can do is offer my personal speculation from what I've seen so far. And that is, I know we as a company, Sodexo, has been working with suppliers, Kellogg's, different companies, to see what steps they're taking to remove these banned substances by the beginning of the next school year. So I'm going to assume that we'll see either items removed that don't meet those standards, or manufacturers are already in the process of changing and replacing things. You can see it in the store already. So Frito-Lay, if you go to the store now, you can see a brand out called Simply, and they don't have any artificial colors or preservatives in it now. I actually did some research over the summer to see if it was Smart Snack compliant. Doesn't quite meet the requirements, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do some modifications so that it meets the specific requirements to be part of that program. And so a lot of the food manufacturers already have food that they make in Canada, Europe, other places around the world where they use natural dyes, and it's not. So I don't see it being an issue where this isn't going to be removed, or we have any issues going forward. And then, so that's the smart snacks, and we have very specific guidelines we have to follow from the state. And then I just wanted to make you aware of some software that we follow, and this is in addition to what Dr. J wanted me to talk about. So we have to meet certain nutrition requirements when we're serving breakfast and we're serving lunch. This is one of the things that the auditors looked for last year, is they actually will audit the menus that we have. And so we use a software system called Primero Edge. And so when we design the menus that we serve the students at all the schools, it goes into our software program, and they have specific menus that already meet all the nutrition requirements for the state. And so we're able to generate a report at any time for anyone that's interested. And I can show you, we met a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of grains, a certain amount of vegetables and fruit for the week that we're supposed to serve with the different meals. And so that's something that, again, I work close with Ellen about. They do audits on me to make sure we're filling out our reports every week, we're building the menus properly, those types of things. So I just wanted to let you know, as a company, Sodexo, it's really important for us to make sure we follow all the standards and the guidelines, and they make it to where all of us that work at the districts, we have resources to go to. And in that packet, that first page there, this is something new that actually just got sent out to Dr. J and Chris today, actually. And so what Sodexo is doing is they're going to, as information comes out from the federal government on any changes that could affect the school lunch programs, whether when you read this has a lot of information in here about what's happening with the SNAP program and how that can affect districts. But as information comes out, and there's updates from the Department of Health and what the new guidelines are going to be, and the Department of Education, all those types of things, that information will be communicated directly with the district. And then Dr. J also has Ellen's contact information and can reach out to her directly or reach out to me with any questions. And also my boss, Richard Kerr, who's going to be here next Wednesday, he comes out for regular visits and makes himself available for to meet with Chris and Dr. J and just make sure that, if there's any questions, we're able to answer those. And so just in this packet, you can see this is I just kind of wanted to brag a little bit about some of the things we're doing as a company. Last year, we started doing some extra events, which some of you actually helped with last year, like the Grilling with Dr. J event. You all came out and served, which was great. I know Madison has helped with the family day over at the elementary school when we serve Thanksgiving meals over there. So it's nice when the board members come out. So anytime we have special events, you all are always welcome to come. But we've expanded it this year, so every month there's going to be different themes, and we post these at the schools. And so in August, you can see there's a list of special events that we've done throughout the month. We want to make sure that, it's a lunch program, but when the students come to eat with us, we want them to have a good experience. we don't want them to have the same thing all the time. I've got an example of a menu in there. The cycle is constantly changing. The things that we do is constantly changing. For example, because we're, on a personal note, I want us to become the best food service program in the state of Arizona. I want my boss bringing people here because of how well things run, the great interactions we have with the district, and be kind of a model. And so that's my personal goal. And so one of the examples, just to give some variety for the students this year, is the pizza. And so the pizza, we have several different types of crust that we offer now that I've got brought in special. We have a wood-fired crust that we offer sometimes. We've got 4 different types of crust for variety. We have a changing menu of variety types. We have French bread pizzas. We have mozzarella stuffed breadsticks. There's a lot of things on there just at the pizza station to add variety, let alone the hot boxes. We have a couple types of sandwiches in there every day, or we got a hot dog roller going for the students. So if y'all ever want, like I always encourage parents or district members, or if y'all would like to come join us for lunch and just see what we're doing for the students. One of the things that we do kind of above and beyond what's required is our salad bar. It's a fantastic salad bar. There's always 7 or 8 options on the salad bar. We change it out. Sometimes we'll even do when we do special events for the students, we might do a bar where it's yogurt. We'll do a yogurt bar for them and add it, and granola and fresh, we'll cut fresh fruits. One of the things you'll see on that agenda that we had for August was National Melon Day. And so one of the pictures that I included in here, I just wanted you to see some of the types of food that we serve the students. You'll see a picture of the bar where we had for National Melon Day, we cut fresh cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, and we put it out on the line for the students. And we also encourage the students, if they're still hungry, we always let them come back and grab extra fruit or get a salad if they want at no charge. If there's students that bring their own meal, again, above and beyond what we're required to do, is if a student wants to come in and grab an apple or grab a banana, we usually have anywhere from 3 to 5 fresh fruits out every day. Sometimes we have canned fruits, but we make it a point to have changing fruit, fresh fruit all the time for the students. We just got, for example, a case of green grapes in today. We're going to wash them tomorrow. We'll have about, we'll have them out on the line tomorrow for the students to enjoy. So we're constantly about variety, quality, and just making it the best experience possible for the students. So, and I just wanted to give you all a few minutes to see what questions you have for me that I might be able to answer about changes that are happening.
Can I share a few things? So, thank you. You do a great job. We're very pleased, very happy. I do eat in the cafeteria from time to time. It's delicious. I just had your pizza at the back to school event, and it was very good. I appreciate the grilling with Dr. J. That was awesome. I actually used an A+ application.
Oh, nice.
As because we're talking about the fun activities we did last year with, different assemblies and 3-on-3 basketball, and then also the grilling. So I just want to commend you on listening to the kids. We have done lots of specialty days as a result of that. And I will say that in my position, always no news is good news in my position. And I rarely hear from food services, which means that it runs smooth and they're always on top of things. So thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
That's how we want it to be.
Yeah, thank you.
So a comment and a question. So today was National Bacon Lovers Day, which is kind of interesting. Sorry we missed it, but not sure about healthy from that anyway. So do you anticipate that the change in the food items without the dyes and stuff is going to raise prices? And if so, does that affect us? I mean, do we have a fixed price with our contract, or will it affect us?
Yeah, it won't. Any those types of costs would be absorbed by us, or if we have to make adjustments to the pricing of the snack program, we'll make those, and then we'll make the district aware of it. And so, as of right now, I couldn't answer you specific. Is there going to be a price increase? I would hope not. If they're taking something out, that they wouldn't raise the price on that. But we'll probably know by the end of the school year, early summer, what those changes are going to be. As
Well,
far
if it
as
doesn't affect us
financially.
now, that's good. From
Right.
our standpoint.
Not this year.
Yeah.
And then the other question too is that, I mean, and maybe this is just not accurate, but, you know, it seems to me that the natural thinking is that, you know, kids like pizza and all that stuff, and you mentioned the fresh fruit. Is that do a lot of students partake of that, and is it generally, you know, accepted well and actually eaten?
We get in 2 shipments of fresh fruit a week. So yes, it's accepted very well. And we make it a requirement when the students, for example, get the pizza, they actually have to either get something off the salad section or fresh fruit to complete a meal. We don't let them leave with just a slice of pizza. So we just let them know, hey, you gotta go get a salad or some fruit to go with it to make a complete meal. So
And hopefully they don't dump it into the garbage.
Right.
I hope not.
Hope
But
not, too.
I will say it is, the fresh fruit goes over really well. Steph here at the front office for the middle school, we've started last year, towards the end of the school year, providing her with fresh fruit on the counter. So when kids are coming through the office and they're hungry, and we fill that up a couple times a week for her. So, yeah, so we go through quite a bit of fresh fruit here.
Good, okay.
And salad and everything that goes
Good,
with
I'm
it.
glad to hear about
Yeah.
the salad and the fruit. That's a big thing for me, so.
I think
that's
it's been a great selling point too, when parents come and they tour the district and I walk them around, I tell them all the different things we're doing. I think it's a really good selling point for parents that are looking at sending their kids to Fountain Hills School District. And I even, you know, Dr. J had mentioned, we take feedback from students. We do. A lot of the things we serve is based on us asking kids what they want, or we'll actually put things out. Middle school, the high school will help us get the kids to kind of fill out some survey cards for us that we do. And then we'll do special menus based on that. But then I also, when I see new students, I'll ask them after a couple of days, hey, how's your experience been? How does this compare to where you come from? And without fail, and maybe it's because you're just talking to me and they want to be nice, but I'd like to believe them when they say, hey, it's better. They always like it better when they have lunch with us because of all, and it's usually they say the variety is really good.
Good.
Scott, with
Questions,
the garden that's going into the elementary school, right, are there vegetables or anything you'll be able to use, or spices or anything?
I'm not familiar with that yet, but you know, I'm sure as the program gets started, that is actually something we can incorporate, and it is a program that Sodexo does with schools where if they have some type of farms, whether it's a container farm or just a traditional little plot of land and they grow things, we can actually serve those in the cafeteria.
Lillian, that's through the Four Peaks Rotary, but we'll connect them at some point once it starts yielding some
Right.
profit.
All right. Bernie, yeah.
I have a couple comments.
One is,
Hang on, Madison, we'll get to you.
Okay.
one
Yeah.
is, can you tell by numbers or percentages how many of the students actually eat in the cafeteria, the meals that are served, and about how many meals do you serve a day?
Sure. So we run as far as the number of meals served every day. At the elementary school right now, we're serving about 150 to 160 lunches. At the high school, we're serving right around 100 to 110 meals, and the middle school, we're up to about 120. All the schools, it traditionally starts out slow, and as the school year, we get a few weeks into the school year, and this trend is no different this year, the numbers start to increase. And so the participation will grow, and we can actually track, and I've talked to Tammy, and I've got a marketer, Sodexo has a marketer that I'm working with that is going to help me put some information together. Last year, I sent out some newsletters. I copied you all on them. I don't know if you ever got them. But on the newsletters that we do this year, there's going to be some information specifically more for parents. I spoke with Val over at the elementary school, and there'll be things on there like information about getting signed up for free or reduced lunches if they haven't applied yet. Anything that we can think of to increase participation. So I'll be working with our marketer to try to work on increased participation. And we try different things too, you know, like last year we were bringing breakfast down. We tried bringing breakfast to the students when they got off the bus. Because a lot of them, when they get off the bus, they've got 10 minutes, and well, do they want to come and eat, or do they want to socialize? And they usually pick socializing, so we don't, at the high school and the middle school, we don't have hardly any breakfast participation. So we'll try, and we brought the breakfasts down to them, and it didn't really do a whole lot, but we tried. So anything we can think of, I asked other general managers from different districts, what do they do to increase participation? So we're always looking for ideas and trying new things, but the big thing this year is I've got a marketer that is helping me put together some stuff that I'll share with the district and the different principals and try to increase the participation.
Okay, Madison?
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to, come and inform us on all these programs and the software that you have. I think that's really helpful for us to understand how things work. And then I just wanted to express appreciation. I can tell not only do you have pride in your company, but you have pride in your hometown school, which is, I think, what makes Fountain Hills so special. Is we've kind of collected those people, right, that are really proud of being a part of the Falcon family. And so thank you for that. Thank you for the fruit and salad, having that available to kids. I think that's such a great option because kids get hungry. And so having healthy snack options that we're not even charging for, I think that's really wonderful. I'm sure a lot of parents appreciate that. And then I'm excited I love the events. I think the food's always been great, which cafeteria food is not usually what you think of when you think of good food, but it's always been fantastic. And I love the Thanksgiving event. It's always really well attended, and everyone's just so happy to be there. And nothing brings people together like food, especially good food. And so I love that that's something else that we're doing in our district, is rallying those events and trying to bring people into the school and get them to meet the students, get them to meet the staff, I think that's really important. So I appreciate all the work that you've done. And I think the newsletters are great too. I got at least one of them last year, and I think that's a great thing to do. So I really appreciate all the things that you're doing that are above and beyond just food service. You're doing a lot more than just the food service. And so thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. And I will say, I do have a son that's in 7th grade, so I have a vested interest in I got a little bit of extra pride and involvement in the schools and trying to make it the best program we can, so.
Kim, do you have any comments or questions?
Yes, I do. Hey, Scott, I just want to thank you for all of you and your team for all of your creativity and hard work, and also for staying on top of some of these sort of food changes that are going to take place. I'm actually excited for all of that, for our children's health. They're going to eat what's put in front of them. And so we as adults and running our school district and our food service district services need to make sure we're putting, as healthy as options as we can in front of them. So I appreciate you kind of tracking all of that. I'm super excited about the additional events this year. And I am going to take you up on your offer. I'm going to show up, and I would love to try out lunch there and report back at another board meeting how it goes.
Hey, that'd be great. I hope everybody does at some point. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thanks.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for your time.
All right, next up is public comments. Do we have any? No? Okay, moving on to action items, starting with personnel action. So page 21 of our agenda. Any questions, comments? If not, I will make the motion to approve the personnel actions. I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I'm going to be abstaining on this vote.
Okay. 4-1, Krista? Okay. Or 4-0 to 1? Okay, next up is the liquidated damages policy. There's two of them. First for Amanda Baca.
I'm here to answer any questions you have. I just will share that Amanda did the process, in my opinion, correctly, professionally, is moving out of state, and she's been a true asset to our school district for, I believe, 15 years. And it's a huge loss for us, but we wish her the best moving forward. And again, I thought she was very professional in her approach to how she is leaving, and I do believe that her reasons for breaking her contract are valid, and it's in her best interest.
Okay. Yeah, she's been here for many years. She was, when my kids were here, she was one of the teachers, so definitely appreciate her service. Any other comments or questions?
She also won the education
I have.
award from Chamber.
Yeah, she was our Teacher of the Year for the Gala Awards last year.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Madison?
Yeah, I have some questions and a couple comments. It's a difficult situation because in the end, we do know the people because we're a small district and because we make everyone a family. And so it is hard to separate the people from the policy or the position. But in the end, I remember when we changed the amount of the fee, and it was because we wanted people to honor their contracts. And we wanted, I believe at the time it was believed that we were fair in the agreement and that people had plenty of time to make decisions. Excuse me. And so I feel for Amanda, and I hate that we're losing her because she's been so helpful in the district. But I have a hard time that we don't ever stick with this agreement, or it seems that we, maybe kind of pick and choose. And so I wanted to know where we stand on this policy, because maybe we should just get rid of the policy if we're never putting it to use. You know what I mean? Because the reason to have a policy like this is for protection, and we want our teachers to stay. We want our staff to stay and not break the contract, because we talked about how it puts us in a really bad situation. It ends up costing us a lot more money. And so I have a hard time. And again, I hate that we know the person so well. And so it's not about the person. Again, it's the policy. So if we have this policy, I feel that we should be a little bit more firm with it and maybe not always waive it. It is going to be difficult, but I have feelings that we.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can speak to that. One of the things that you have to factor in, I believe, when you're talking about liquidated damages, is are there damages to the district by her leaving, and what financial impact does that have on us? And I don't believe we have an impact on this one, because we are still, with student count, probably a little bit overstaffed. We're not overstaffed like we were last year, and we had to make reductions, but we are not going to need to hire anyone to fill this role. So I don't believe there's any financial damage to the district that we'd be trying to recoup. And that is what the attorney has shared with us in the past situations, is if we had to spend money to get a substitute at a contracted rate, and we had to hire somebody, and that takes time and additional cost, then that is supposed to go towards that, is my understanding. So I don't believe in this case, because we were pretty proactive in our reductions last year, and we left some room for the possibility of something like this happening, because we've learned from the past that sometimes we do lose a teacher early in the year, and we're able to fill this without hiring anybody. In fact, it will actually be a reduction on our total M&O budget with her leaving.
For both positions, coach and teacher?
Well, coaching is going to
talking about
be,
Amanda right now.
yeah, well, she coaches, but coaching,
okay.
coaching is, we have to have a coach regardless. So again, that's not going to be an impact financially, whether it's her or somebody else. The coaching position will need to be filled, and that her main position, she did some middle school sports as well, but her main coaching position was girls basketball, which starts in November. So we have time to hire somebody.
Well, regarding picking and choosing of the policy does have, well, it has spouse relocation out of state, which I almost wonder if that's
That's the next one.
discriminatory
This
for someone who's not married.
this one, she's
Go ahead.
well, she's moving, and I understand, but like I said, it's really hard to take this situation by situation, because you always want to extend the understanding to people that you care about and that you know. And so, of course, I would love to waive the fee. But again, we have this policy for a reason. And the reason that she gave for moving is valid to a degree, but unlike the other waiver, the one that we're considering next, where it's an event that happened that is calling her out of state, that I understand. Like, they can't really control. Her husband got a job out of state, they have to move. This other one, I feel that maybe there could have been more of an agreement made or an understanding. And so even though I understand her situation, I understand her decision, and I completely am behind her decision, our policy should stand, because that's why we have it, is so that people don't make the choice to leave after agreeing and signing an agreement to stay. So and we did the same thing with Chris Alexander, where I believe we did have some, money spent to fill that position and to change things around. And I feel like if we're going to have this policy and we raised the amount to give it teeth to make people stay, I just don't understand why we waive it every time. And again, I understand that we know the person, but we can't pick and choose. If we have a policy, we need to stand by the policy.
Right, but the policy does state relocation. Now, it states spouse relocation, so technically that is an exception. But what I raised the question is it really fair to have spouse? Because that is discriminatory in some senses, that someone's single.
I agree. It's not fair.
Yeah, so, but
I disagree. I disagree, because in the end...
Can I finish, please?
Yes.
Madison? So I'm thinking that she actually the reason for a request is somewhat consistent with our policy. So we're not really waiving the policy. She's actually pretty much following it, with that exception about the spouse. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I would disagree that it's discriminatory, because, it's the same thing as we had the discount for the teachers with the preschool, and someone thought that was discriminatory because there's extra benefits. No, there's extra liabilities. Those teachers have kids, so we extend a break to them to use our services because they're teaching at our school. So having a spouse is an extra consideration that we give somebody. But again, I feel like the statement isn't that something happened and there's an event. It was a decision made, and I feel like the decision was made after a commitment to our school district.
Okay.
And so I'm behind her decision. I understand her decision, but at the same time, there's a commitment there. And so I don't think it applies to the policy. So I'll be a no vote, even though, like I said, it's not my favorite thing to do, but we have a policy for a reason, and we should stand by that policy.
Just a quick comment.
I have a few comments.
Okay, if I can just make a quick comment, and then Lillian wanted to talk too. If we could have our attorney address that question about whether the word spouse there
Yes,
should be
I will
changed.
take.
Lillian?
My only comment here is, I'm disappointed that this didn't come up earlier, because the parents were aging unless something happened and the parents got ill, during the summer. But I do think it goes along with our policy, and we've been fairly careful, and we have charged other people at different times, so I feel like we're being fair on this.
Okay. Kim, go ahead.
I don't necessarily think that the spouse word is discriminatory, but I do think that we need to revisit the policy and that specific line item, because not everyone is married, and there are situations where you may need to relocate out of state for, let's say, a family member that you're becoming a caregiver for, whatever it may be. So I would like to revisit that specific line item of the policy to adjust it to make it applicable across the board, for people who encounter certain situations. And the last thing I will say is that also part of the policy is that, at least as I read it, is that that the school recognizes that there are damages. And I think there are some, right? I think there's parents, there's students that are disappointed, that are sad that she's leaving. There's sentiment around that. There's, peers and staff that also are affected by that. But I'm glad Dr. J brought this up, because it was going to be my next question, really, was what are our damages in terms of, how much are we going to have to spend to go find someone? How long is it going to take us to replace her? Those types of things. And my understanding is that we aren't, that we can, in light of lower enrollment and our efforts to try to reduce our budget, that we can absorb this loss. And so we don't have necessarily financial damages. And that's what our policy says. So I'm probably going to be a yes vote, but I am with Madison in that I don't want to make it a regular habit that we are waiving damages. I do want us to kind of adjust this policy, and I do want to stick to the policy. And if I believe there's damages in the future, I will vote, not to waive it.
Yeah, Kim, I appreciate your comments, and what I can share is that when we've had these come up in the past, working with the attorneys, the key really comes down to damages, right? Because that's what it is. We're charging them for a loss to the district, and so what we typically do is, if there is a loss moving forward, which we can certainly amend how we give the information to you and make sure those damages are listed on there if there are any. But in my opinion, there are not on either of these tonight. And so that is the sticking point with the attorney is, yes, we can certainly, there's two ways of looking at it. There's one is the financial damages, which I don't believe there are here, because we planned for the possibility of having a vacancy somewhere in the district. And we went through this a couple years ago where we had a teacher resign on the first day of school, and it caused a lot of hectic time for everyone. It wasn't fair to the parents and the kids. And so learning from that, we've tried to prevent that from ever happening again. And here's an example of where we have a resignation early in the year. We're able to adjust and monitor, move on without making it, it's not as big of an issue. The other side of it is the professionalism side of it. And so that's, I think, where Madison, I think that's one of the things you brought up is the contract, following through with it. You signed it, and it leaves the district in a bad spot with parents, students, and people who appreciate the person. And that's done through a different process than what we're talking about here tonight. So I think what we're talking about tonight is liquidated damages. Yeah.
I have just two comments. One, I don't think it's good enough to say you don't believe there's going to be any damages. That would be something that you'd have to know in order for us to, again, waive this. And about the policy, I think it is pretty even across the board, because for me, I don't have a spouse, which means my spouse isn't going to be moving out of town and forcing me to leave with him. So I don't need that consideration. And the policy does apply to people leaving out of town for a better job for themselves or for other reasons, like we said, to become a caretaker. My problem with this request is that, like Lillian said, there wasn't an event or a sickness. It's aging parents, which, again, I understand Amanda's decision. I'm fully behind it. But her parents were aging in April when she signed the contract. And so the reason that she gave to me it wasn't something that changed within the time that she committed to now. I don't understand the signing of a contract, and then only how many months later, 4 months later, saying, no, I'm making a huge decision that, again, she didn't indicate anything changed on the other, like what caused her to make that decision. So I don't think the policy applies here. And I think that the policy is actually very fair because it just takes into account all considerations, you know?
I just want to address that I do not know of any damages at this time. Her resignation financially is going to cause the district. So I've already have all the positions filled and shuffled, and we did not have, because she gave us time, we did not have to hire any substitute teachers. So at this time, I can say with certainty that I do not know of any damages that this will cause from the coaching standpoint. Again, that's farther out, but we always will have to hire a coach. And if anything, the coach will come in at a lower salary because there'll be a brand new coach versus a 15-year veteran coach. So I do not see anything there. My second point would be, is I would definitely, as a board, look at this policy and make changes. It's you're in the position to do that. That is the main focus of board members, is to make policy, change policy as needed. And I think that'd be a great discussion for down the road to modernize it, look at it, and make it fit our district better. So I just want to clear that up.
So I have a hypothetical question. If we choose to change this policy, the teachers and staff currently under contract are still, they wouldn't be subject to the new policy until the new contract?
I'd have to check with our attorney on when that would be effective.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Okay, who would like to make a motion to approve the waiver for Amanda Baca?
I so move.
You have a second?
A second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
So 41. Okay, the next one is liquidated damages policy for Lisa Schreiner.
President Rakowski, members of the board and guests, again, Lisa falls under the category we just spoke of, and I believe that this is a situation she cannot avoid, and she is giving us till September, I believe, so she's giving us plenty of time to make decisions. I do not see this causing, again, liquidated damages because we plan to reduce the number of health aides is our hope, or our nurses on campus. We currently have 3, but since one campus is shared, we are working to ensure that that is okay to have one on the shared campus, which everything we've been told is okay to do. And we'll be bringing more than likely something on the personnel action of some kind of consolidation of those 2 positions into one, and therefore reducing our budget as well from having separate people in one campus of roughly 500 and some students.
Okay, and this request is clearly in line with the policy, that spouse relocation reason B. Any questions or comments about this?
No.
If not, who would like to make a motion to approve?
I so move.
Have it a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. All right, next up is the DARE program at McDowell Mountain. We heard about this at our last meeting, and I will make a motion that we approve the implementation of the DARE program. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Next up is policy advisories 909 to 914, which we discussed briefly at our last meeting. And basically, these are policies that are updated to reflect changes in what the legislature passed in the most recent session. So I think they're pretty straightforward, nothing controversial or questionable about them. So I will make the motion that we approve policy advisories 909 to 914. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's approved unanimously. Next action item, last action item is the appoint a delegate for the ASBA Delegate Assembly. And I think Lillian and Bernie
Good night.
are attending, right?
Yes, we're going.
Okay, go ahead, Madison.
Oh,
Was that Kim, or?
did they volunteer?
I volunteer, I've done it in the past.
And you're going anyway.
Oh,
so
okay.
you get
Because I was
paid.
gonna see if Rich wanted to do it.
I was thinking about going to the conference, but to save the district money, I declined. So no, I'll pass. Maybe next year.
And I will do it virtually, when it comes to the voting, so that saves the school district money for me, not having to go in on Saturday
Okay.
for that.
Oh,
And do we
well,
have,
thanks,
I mean,
Lillian.
they let you know ahead of time what they're voting on, so do we get input, or how does the logistics work?
I forget what this one is. Yeah, if we find out before, we'll let everybody know.
Yeah, and then
We'll send it out.
discuss it, okay. Other comments or questions? Kim or Madison? So which one, so Lillian, you want to make a motion to do yourself, or Bernie, do you want to make a motion for Lillian?
I move that Lillian's the designated
Delegate.
delegate.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye. I'm a nay just because you know how I feel about ASBA.
Okay, all right, 4-1. All right, on to information and discussion items, starting out with club policy, enrichment programs, and facility use fees. Dr. J, do you want to talk about this, or?
Sorry, I was just clarifying that we heard the vote correctly on that last one.
It's 4-1.
Yes,
This is the
okay.
okay.
So we're on to club policy?
Yeah, club
Okay.
policy, enrichment programs, facility.
Yeah,
use
so I'm gonna defer to Madison to kind of lead the discussion here. I know this is something she definitely wanted to speak on. I will just say that just give a little history here. Our governing board in a previous meeting had voted to change the language in our policy, saying that school clubs can only exist in grades 6 through 12. And that was decided at the time that having clubs at the elementary school, it would be hard to, in lower grades, to say those are student-led and that those are student interests. So the board felt that because the middle school had moved over, it used to be 7-12, and we changed it to 6 since the sixth graders had moved over to the other campus. And I do think that's appropriate for student clubs starting in middle school. That is where kids will come forward with interests and that. Now, what I will say, at the elementary, what I think we are trying to build there is what's called enrichment activities, which I wholeheartedly support. And as long as there are parameters in place that we consider when it comes to cost, obviously, I think there's a difference between running an enrichment program that helps the kids have something to do one day a week or occasionally for an after-school program versus a company coming in and running their business in our school, making profit and those types of things. So I think we just
Hold on. I want to speak to this because you're absolutely off base. First of all,
Dr. J,
either
were you done
we're
with your
breaking
comment?
current policy.
Madison, hang on.
Either
Dr. Madison, please. Dr.
No,
J, were you done
no,
with your comment?
he's saying businesses coming in and for profit, that's wrong. I mean, you can hire companies, and that's what the elementary school is actually talking about doing right now, is hiring companies to come in and run programs. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is bring community partners in, people that own businesses, but that are willing to donate their time and their skills and their resources to provide quote unquote enrichment activities for our elementary students or for middle school and high school.
I just want to note that I did not
The second point that I want to say where we're off base, hold on, don't interrupt. We're off base
Well, Madison,
because
you did
we have
interrupt
clubs at
Dr.
the
J.
elementary
Dr.
school.
Madison, please.
Hold on, Rick,
No,
hold
you
on.
did
We
interrupt
have
Dr.
clubs
J.
at the elementary school.
It's okay.
I have a receipt for running club from 2 years ago. So we've had, and running club ran last year. We have clubs at the elementary school. So trying to say that our policy doesn't allow clubs at the elementary school is a little frustrating because we have them there currently. We can change the name of them and call them enrichment activities, but it's still the same idea. All the clubs should be educationally focused because that's what our business is in. That's what our service is in. So I agree that that's what it should be about. But whether we call it club or enrichment activities, we need to talk about what we're actually talking about, which is not businesses coming in for profit. No, it's businesses coming in and donating their time with the idea that, yeah, it is, they could eventually get business from it, but it's not, they're not going in there making money. They're donating their time. So it was really ridiculous to say that.
And if you go back and watch the video, I did not say that. What I said is we need to make sure that the enrichment groups are coming in to enrich the students and come in, and if they want to provide their time and they want to provide activities, that's exactly what I said. I said we need to be careful of making sure that we do not have businesses using our facilities at a reduced cost or something, because then we run into then a gift of taxpayer money. And all I'm saying is that you have to, if you're going to bring in enrichment groups, and the parents are going to pay for it, and they're going to come in and do that, like, I don't have an issue with that. I said that from the very beginning, and then you assumed that I'm accusing any group. I don't even know of one group that's over there, not one. I don't know of any group doing enrichment at McDowell Mountain Elementary School at this time. So to say that I said that is not correct. What I'm telling you is that we've already went down this road with pickleball of what is a gift of public money or a gift of, allowing a group to come in.
There's no gift.
Can I finish?
No, our policy clearly
Madison, you're out of
states-
order. You need to let Dr. J finish, and you'll have the chance to give your comments, okay? Thank you.
And what I'm saying is that we have to be careful from things in the past of where it's a good intention, and we all want that. We want the kids to have enrichment. But we have to be careful of what that turns into, because I'm still hear about pickleball from time to time, because there's still people upset about the fact of how that turned out. And so we need to be careful of that. The second thing I want to point out is that going back, and we're going to be talking about Four Peaks here in a little bit, but going back to Four Peaks, we had renters renting those facilities way under market value and getting basically very, very low rent at the cost of again, taxpayers. And that was my concern.
Oh my goodness.
Is that we have to make sure that if we're involved as a school district with our facilities, that we are doing it in a way that ensures that we are not gifting anything and we're not making it more affordable for anybody that's not equitable to other businesses. So if you want to bring in enrichment groups and they want to come in and do karate, you mentioned that many times, and they want to put on, once a week, they want to come in and donate it for free or at a small cost for the parents, and that's what they do. I have no issue with that as long as the attorneys say that's okay to have physical contact like that on our campus. Like, I'm okay with that. If we want to bring in a dancing group or whatever, those are all fine. I just want to make sure we don't end up in another situation like pickleball.
Okay, Madison, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll talk about Four Peaks in a minute because there's a lot there that's wrong. Again, it's being presented very, very incorrectly, and it's unfair to the vendors that were there that were trying to make it work for us and them. But right now we're talking about the clubs, and our policy that we currently have clearly dictates that any club has to be self-sustaining. It has to make enough money to cover all its expenses because it can't be carried by the district because it's not meant to be, the taxpayers are not meant to pay for the clubs. Those are extras, which is why we charge club fees and parents pay it because they know that the opportunities are there for their kids. To me, this has always been a multifaceted solution to multiple issues that we have. Like I said, we don't have a Spanish class, but I had someone ready to run Spanish club, someone who was willing to donate their time, and Lillian was willing to be involved in it as well. And multiple people. I had the karate people willing to come in and donate their time to give that opportunity to kids. I believe this will bring people back to our district. And I sat at the splash park with 7 to 9 moms talking about the opportunities, and all of them were ecstatic when they heard about the club options that we were talking about for the elementary school. And that's why I get really frustrated when it seems like we're trying to not implement this. it's opportunities for our kids to socialize, to be active, to build confidence, to learn skills. Like we talk about social emotional learning, and I've always said it's not a curriculum. It's something that you learn through life experiences. This is the way that we give kids those life experiences, is by giving them these extracurricular activities. And I've worked so hard to find a way to bring this to our district without asking more of our teachers. I brought in community partners, business owners that, again, are willing to donate their time and partner with a teacher to run these opportunities for our kids. I don't understand what the hang up is.
But we're not, I just want to be clear, no one here on my team is opposed to enrichment activities at McDowell Mountain. I don't know where you're not understanding that. We are not opposed to it. So bring your groups in, meet with Principal Reichler, and set it up. I don't have a problem with it. They just have to follow the procedures. They need to be background checked. They need to go through the process. And if there's fees involved, and we need to take a look at what they're presenting and make sure that it fits what an enrichment activity is. And again, a club is different than an enrichment activity. Clubs, they pay fees. There's the teacher, it's student-led, with a teacher, has to have a teacher representative. That's different than an enrichment activity. So if Little League wanted to come and do an enrichment activity after school and take the kids out to the baseball field and work with them, and they were doing it at a low cost or something, it was periodic, and it wasn't going to turn into where they're using the fields all the time, I think that falls under enrichment, and we would gladly be interested in that. So there is no hang up on our end.
Does any new enrichment program or club have to be like proposed to the board and approved, or is there existing policy would cover it?
I will double check to make sure we're dotting i's and t's. I don't think on that it needs to necessarily go to the board, but I do think it needs to go to the district to review facility use agreements and to make sure that, again,
No, but see,
what started out
hold on.
as,
Hang on for a second.
what started out in pickleball, again, was these facilities are available. That's a little different because that's not kid related. I get that. It's a different situation. But it grew.
It's a
and grew and
completely
grew.
different situation. That
But-
didn't involve our students at
Madison,
all.
hang on.
It was not for our
Please,
students.
Madison, please.
But if you look at, like, let's say, for example, KDA Dance, who was one of our, renters, them renting the facility and renting at what I felt was, based on what I saw at the time, appropriate rent for what they were doing. That's different than an enrichment activity. They're actually renting, so they're running their business out. It's a for-profit business, and that's what they're doing. That's different than an enrichment activity. So my job is always to make sure that we are looking at what are the potential downsides. There are a lot of upsides, but I always have to look at what are the downsides to it as well, to make sure we don't get ourselves into a situation that could have been avoided by just having someone look at it, have a conversation. And I want to be very clear, because I'm being painted here as against this idea, which I'm not. And I'm going to give you an example of last year. Victory Skateboards came and met with me and asked about starting some kind of club or enrichment activity at the high school. And I went out of my way, and I will give you his name and number, and you can give him a call. And I went out of my way on several occasions to have conversations. I set up a meeting for him to meet with the kids. We took interest forms. He created a Fountain Hill skateboard for us, and it never came to anything. He in the end, it wasn't something he ended up doing. But it wasn't because we were opposed to it. So when you say that, I feel like that is not a fair assessment, and I will send you Victory Skateboards information so you can talk to him about the conversation he had with me and the work I did to try to get him onto the high school campus as an enrichment or a club.
So is it correct that if this wants to pursue this, that any sponsor or whatever should set up a meeting with Ms. Reichler and
I think the
make a
first,
proposal?
I think the first step is to, yes, the principal needs to be okay with what's going on her campus, and she needs to be involved in that conversation.
Okay.
From there, then, I think she would come to us, and we would go through with our attorney, like we would in anything else, look it over to make sure that we're not running into any kind of gifts of public monies. And then from there, make it an approved enrichment group and then get started.
So Madison, is that agreeable, pursuing it that way?
Yes, and if you read our current club policy, it's actually the parameters are pretty clearly set. And I think it would be good just to, like when I talk to people about possibly doing a club or running a club at the school, I talk to them about how important it is for our kids to have well-rounded educational opportunities. And to me, like I said, when we bring in athletics or when we bring in like the music club or Spanish club, those are absolutely educationally based, even though you could say they're not the core education that we're supposed to provide. They're extras, which is, again, a great marketing tool. It pulls people in. And so I think that's really important. And when we set those parameters where it's like, well, we want to provide opportunities for our kids that will enrich their education, I think that sets a precedent. When we have the outline for the way that it needs to be set up, that sets a precedent. When the club policy clearly states the fee needs to cover the expenses, which includes the stipend for whatever teacher is sponsoring it. And I think we should stick with clubs instead of enrichment activities, because from what I understood when I spoke with Val, is that the enrichment opportunities are run by businesses. She was saying that you guys have been looking at paying a company to come in and run the after-school care because they do activities. To me, why would we pay a company to do it when we have community partners willing to come in and provide a variety of different, skill sets and educational opportunities? I think that we're a small school. Hold on, we're a small school.
Go ahead, finish.
What was that? Oh, well, we're a small district, so we don't have as many resources as a lot of these other districts. But I've always said that Fountain Hills has the superpower of being one of the most well-rounded communities. We have so many skilled and super educated people. We should be putting them to use, and they want to. We have people that support us all the time. We can do more with less because of our community, and we should do that instead of paying a company to come in and run after school care. Let's find the community partners. I can send you a list as well, and let's get these opportunities here for our kids.
Okay. So do we agree that you'll kind of coordinate and bring proposals forward or facilitate that?
I'm sorry, what?
Do we agree that you'll facilitate the proposals for these activities going forward?
Sure.
Okay.
And I just want to clarify, we have not had any discussion with any outside companies about after-school care at this time. We have busing after school. If that is a direction that the board would like to go in the future, yes, and the first and only option that we would look at to begin any kind of after-school care would be with our local Boys and Girls Club. And then from there, we would look out. So again, I don't want people to be misled that there's conversations about after-school care and that we're not utilizing our own staff, because we're not even having that discussion at this time.
Okay, are we ready? Did you have a comment?
Yeah, just my comment. Number one is I like the idea of it being called enrichment program at the elementary school rather than a club. The preschool has a couple of enrichment programs, so I would go that way. Whatever information you have, Madison, you need to get it to Val before anything else, and from there we can go on. And we do approve the club, so I think it should be brought to the board if things are there for enrichment for us to approve as well.
Okay. Bernie, do you have anything?
Absolutely. And I did give Val, and it was just, I told her it wasn't anything official because I knew we needed to figure out exactly how we wanted to do these things. But the clubs or enrichment opportunities that I was willing to help out with, like the music club and the go-getters, were I designed just a 12-week program because I figured that was probably enough to meet the stipend and the policy requirements. And I just laid it out week by week, right? And said, okay, the first week we're going to learn rhythm and beat. And then the next week we're going to learn this. And we'll incorporate ukuleles on week 4, And so that, I think once we get things like that set up, that's when we can bring it to the board for approval because it'll be outlined. But we have to... and I don't know, I asked Val to share those with you, Dr. J, because I figured there needs to be some blueprint provided for any of these community partners that are willing to do this, so that they know how to organize it. Because I mean, they could come in here thinking that they need to do the whole school year, and that's not accurate, right? So if we came up with something that's like, interested in running a club, here's what you need to know, and did something like that, I think we could, get the excitement and the support around it, because again, these are just great opportunities for our kids,
And Kim, do you have anything before we move on, or? Kim?
No, I don't have anything. I
Okay.
support enrichment programs in the elementary school. Both of my sons participated in them in California. So California schools do something very similar where local community businesses come in. They do a 10 or 12-week program. There's a small fee, which may go towards, I don't know, facility use fee or whatever, to make sure things are kosher within the district. But I've happily participated, had my kids participate in these programs as a parent, and I've seen them be very successful. So it sounds like we're all in agreement that we can find a way to make this work. And I think it's just really getting it outlined and, crossing our T's, dotting our I's, and let's move forward with it.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on to discussion on Four Peaks. Dr. J?
Okay, so Bernie asked for that. I'm gonna defer to him. The only thing that I would like to bring up later is just, with the land sale, what we do with it. I think that was the purpose of the conversation, not to go into the past of the building and what went on there, but more about the future of it, especially now that the land sales move forward. So I'm gonna turn over to Bernie.
And the main point on that is the facility and the property. We've got the 2 vacant lots that are in the process of being sold and approved by zoning, and there's a whole set of procedures that the agent is going through now. The other one is the voter-approved lot and the facility at Four Peaks. And as mentioned earlier in the conversation tonight, they tried to make an incubator out of it. They've tried different things to do. EVIT was in there. And the building is going to require heavy maintenance and construction work to be modified for anybody else to use the facility as it's standing. So the only thing I was looking at is, as we go through this first set of priorities with the vacant property, that we have in the back of our mind what to do with the property and the facility. So far, no one else has come in to present any unsolicited reuse of that facility because of the expense of doing the repairs and the maintenance on it. And it has come up, and if you use social media, you always hear things coming up about what to do with the property there, and it's either going to be a grass field or a natatorium, have a swimming pool. So that seems to be the number one thing that happens every summer. So the idea is to start thinking about what we need to do next, and maybe we'll bring it up at the meeting next week when we sit and talk about the future of the district and what we plan for goals. But that was my whole point. I'm just trying to get it on the agenda to start thinking about what do we do next? What do we do with the property? What do we do with the facility? And we did have a group that looked at it when it first came up from the neighborhood and what they would like to see to make sure it wouldn't add traffic to the neighborhood, that it could be, if it was going to be individual residences, it would match the facilities that are around there already, the other residences. And we went so far as to talk to other places like the Boys and Girls Club and another institution along the same lines, and they did not see the capacity of clients being able to make it affordable to put in a business type opportunity there. So that was the point of bringing it up and trying to get it on the schedule, is that we do need to sit down sometime in a not too distant future and figure out what we want to do with the entire property and facility.
And there's also some vague thought about some existing health club converting the multi-purpose room into pickleball courts, but I don't think that flew anywhere either.
I'll give you a couple things just that I'm aware of in this discussion over the last 4 years. We did get a price to raise it, to completely, take it down. Back then, it was roughly $350 to do something like that. Over a few years' time, it would pay off itself just on keeping the building up. Even though there's nobody in it now, there's still some costs like insurance, and sometimes there's, we have to keep the HVAC at a certain level and in some kind of hibernation mode. And so over time, I think you would recoup that money in years' time. And it would allow us, and I'm going to take Bernie's suggestion a little farther, is that we probably need to continue to have, develop a plan. And that could be actually a board, a directed committee, like a facility plan for the future, of what does long-term facility management look like. And so I've thought this out in my mind, thinking about, could the town ever flip and become, very family, a lot of families moving in, a lot of kids in town. And we need to, I think, always have a pathway for that for this community, because in 30, 40 years, we don't know what it's going to look like here. And I think we do, and some resources we have that some people may not know about is we do have 15 acres at McDowell Mountain right now of that state trust land that was not used in the original build. So you have land there to build a future, middle school or high school or something, and have all the campuses in one complex. We have El Lago, which is about 20 acres that we did not put on this last ballot. We have the two that are up for sale now that we know where that's headed. And then we still have the Four Peaks area, which again is not a large enough space to probably put something massive in there. It's not going to be housing, in my opinion, because it's too small. So it might be good for the district to hold on to that asset. The dirt was worth about 2-3 years ago when we went through consolidation, about $900,000 for that lot. It could have gone up by now, but again, that might be good to save in case there's a need for a future elementary school. It's a small parcel, and I think the community would be okay with it just being open space. And then you still have Little Falcons Preschool, which in time, if that ever needs to be, shut down, that's another parcel of land that the district has. So we do have a lot of room to grow if we needed to. And we've taken that first step in reducing those and using those for future needs that we have right now. And remember too that when you do go on the ballot to sell, remember you can sell, you can land lease, and you can exchange. And exchange is an interesting thing, because if you were to say close another campus at some point, we could exchange that building, that land, for a new building or new space at a different campus to consolidate further if we wanted to. So I think putting a committee together of stakeholders to look at our land and our facilities, I think with the expertise we have on the board, I think it would be a good thing. So thank you, Bernie, for bringing that up.
Okay. Lillian, do you have any?
No, I agree with Bernie and with Kane. I think we should be discussing it, and I think it's something we need to look at in the future.
Okay. Kim and Madison, any comments or questions?
Kim? I don't have any additional comments. I have a couple. I love that we have the opportunity to discuss it, because, like we said, it is a valuable asset. And I love that Bernie mentioned a pool, because before I even ran for school board, that was something that I thought was an interesting idea with Four Peaks. I don't know the legality of it or the potential, but is there a way to partner with the town on a community pool that would then be a profit for us?
Yeah,
is there a way to do something like that, or would that?
Yeah, there's always opportunity to do something like that, and I think that's something that could be discussed.
I mean, given the
Because I
financial
think that
aspect
there's a
of the
lot of
town, I doubt they
opportunities
would go
there.
for it. Yeah.
What was that, Rich?
I don't, given the financial situation of the town, I sincerely doubt they would want to commit that kind of money to doing it, and the liability of having the pool. I don't know, that's my thought.
No, but I mean, if you look at the financials of something like that, I mean, and then not only that, but the way that it could benefit the school district. I mean, our swim team goes to Scottsdale right now to practice. And so I think that, you know, if we had the facility and then during the summer it was a community pool that people had to pay to go to, and on weekends it was a community pool that people had to pay to go to, or there could be swim lessons run out of there. You know, we could give our high schoolers jobs as lifeguards. There's all sorts of opportunities there. And again, I don't know exactly what we should do with it, but I like that we're having the discussion because it's a valuable asset. It's just sitting there deteriorating. I was someone that wanted us to run it as the business hub and, you know, utilize the vendors that were in there that were trying to bring more businesses in there. But that didn't happen. And so I think that it's important that we figure out what we want to do with it and not just push it out into the future because it is just sitting there. So, you know, we can either use it or, you know,
And I think technically
help have it become a resource.
And technically, it's not zoned for business, so that was actually not totally okay either, but anyway.
That's great. What I would do is maybe we bring it for an action item in the future to create a committee, a board-directed committee, be open to the public, you know, meeting, notices, the whole deal. And just we did this years ago on consolidation and start having a conversation of, you know, what do we do with that building, especially now that we will have, if everything goes through with the land sale, some capital to use to whether raise it or do whatever we're going to plan on doing with it. So I think that would be the best pathway forward, and then that committee can come and present to you its findings, and then you can make decisions off of that.
Okay. Kim, do you have anything?
That sounds excellent, Kane. Thank you.
I think that sounds great. And I too also love the idea of exploring the pool. I don't think we should just, decide that it's not going to work. We need to actually explore the options there. And I love that idea. I think it would be good for the community, good for our school district. So if it could work, I think it should be one of the things on the table. But yes, I agree, Kane. I like the idea of putting together a board-directed committee, having it open to the public, and let's start figuring out what we're going to do.
Okay, good. All right, moving on to future action. We have student outcomes such as report cards and proficiency data, and then ESH voucher students in sports. Dates of upcoming meetings. A week from today, August 27th at 2 p.m., we have a board retreat. September 3rd and September 17th, we have meetings in the Learning Center here. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
How about a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Aye.
Since you guys brought up the clubs,